You really have no idea, do you? You really have absolutely no clue who the person is that you see in the mirror, do you? The reason I'm asking you all of these questions is because these are the same questions that I asked to myself when I came across this philosopher called Jiddu Krishnamurti. And I'll tell you why I asked these questions to myself. Maybe, best case scenario, you'll get as bamboozled as me at the end of the video when I first heard about the idea. The reason why I've asked these questions about, okay, who am I? What am I if not who I think I am? These kinds of very paradoxical, confusing questions that people only ask when they want to distract themselves with just intellectual languages. Like, if you want to just distract yourself from real world problems, find yourself an intellectual topic to kind of chew on. There's kind of questions that I just told you about. Who do I think I am if not who am I if not what I think I am? These are the questions that people usually ask to distract themselves from real world problems. But what I realized recently is that question goes much deeper than the distraction element of it. What I mean by that is, all of us as we go through life, all of us think that, first of all, we think we are our thoughts. First of all, that's the very basic level. We think we are our thoughts. We think we are the person who thinks all of these things. We think we are the person who thinks of playing video games, or who thinks of not working today, or we are the person who thinks of wasting time, or we are the person who thinks of a lot of things. First mistake that we make, the first misinterpretation that we make is we think we are the person who thinks all of these things. Reality is, and it will get a little confusing when I say this, so maybe pause the video to process it, is you are not the person who thinks about all of these things. You are just the person who watches these thoughts come to you. You are the person, you are basically the awareness of the thoughts, you are not the thoughts itself. What I mean by that is, if you get the thought to just, kill someone who's just walking down the road, maybe that's a very extreme example. But sometimes people will just take that thought and be like, my God, why am I having these thoughts? I'm like, my God, am I a murderer? Am I this? Am I that? Do I have that problem, this problem? All without realizing that it's just a thought that came from fucking Narnia. That came from Narnia, and suddenly when you have that thought, you now think of yourself as a murderer, or you think of yourself as all of these mean things, when in reality, none of that is the case. I just thought I got a call. None of that is the case. Right? Reality is, you are not the thoughts. You're not the thoughts that hit your mind. You are the person who's aware of all of those thoughts. Now, the second thing that we all do, the second mistake or the second misinterpretation that we all make, is that we believe that we are that voice in our head. This is kind of similar to the point about thoughts, but that voice in our head is a little bit more sensitive. It's a little bit more deeper. Whereas the kind of point that we kind of struggle with is when we have some kind of thoughts in our minds, we kind of assume that, well, fuck, that's me. When you realize that you are not being useful, or when you realize that when you're not being of value to other people, when you take that for the truth, you think that is the reality of your case, the reality of the situation. You take whatever your mind is telling you, and you don't really think about whether they're true or not. Right? And that is the second trap that all of us kind of fall into, that trap of listening to our mind voice, listening to that tiny voice in our heads and thinking that whatever it says, it's kind of the truth. In reality, that's if you actually paid attention to the first point, you would realize that that's not actually true. This is just an evolved version of the first one, which is that thoughts, you want to kill someone, that's easy. I'm not a fucking murderer. It's easy to tell yourself, okay, but why do I want to kill that person? He's just randomly walking down the road. I don't want to kill him. That's just a random thought that's coming in my mind. But the inner voice is what is a little more nuanced, wherein like it's a little more nuanced to the point that you have to realize, you have to actually see the mind for what it is. See the mind for what it's actually doing to you, which is, hey, like, okay, it's actually making me feel useless or worthless or making me feel all of these things. You actually watch it and you actually have to ask yourself, okay, am I these things? And you just sit with the question rather than actually trying to answer it, and you will get the answer 9 out of 10 times. The third thing that we all mistake ourselves to be is the things that we want, is the kind of person that we want to be, is the things that we do, all of these things, and even that is not you, right? All of your wants, all of your desires, all of your choices, or all of these things gonna change with time, right? All of these things change with time. And I think you and I can both agree that you don't wish for the same things that you wished for when you were 4 or 5 years old, right? You did not wish for the same things. You're a different person now, which means that your wants have kind of evolved over time. The point I'm going to make here is that you are not the person with these wants. You are not the person who desires these things. Again, the same point that I made with the first point is just you are only the person who's aware of the mind telling you that you want all of these things. It's like instantly the easiest example that I can give for most of you, it's like, okay, there is this usual desire that can come up is that I want that girl. I want that girl. And many people just take that and obsess over themselves, like, oh my god, I'm head over heels with this girl, I have a huge crush, I can't survive without talking to her. It's none of those things. It's the same thing as the first point that I made. You're the person who's aware, who has to be aware of these desires of your mind, aware of these desires of your heart. You don't need to act any of them out. It's kind of like a child throwing a fit. If you let the child actually throw a fit without, demeaning the child or beating the child or being angry about the child or just being neutral about it, just telling, okay, I hear you, I see why you are making a fit, and you just sit in that awareness. Like you just sit, let the child just throw a fit, and you just sit there rather than just demeaning or saying anything or going against it. What usually happens is the fit kind of goes away and the child kind of returns to the default state it was in before. Same applies to your thoughts, right? If you just become aware of your wants, aware of your thoughts, aware of these desires that you have, they kind of go away on their own. You don't need to do anything. They just go away on their own. The final point that I want to make, and this is where it gets slightly a little more nuanced, is all of us think that we are our identities, right? All of us think that we are the writer, we are the editor, we are the designer, we are the speaker, we are the playboy, as some people would assume themselves to be. We are charismatic. We are all of these labels. We all assume ourselves to be all of these labels. So what I want to tell you is, the label is just a small representation of what you are. And just to take the writer example, because it's something that I can closely relate to. If you're capable of writing, if you're a writer, you're capable of a lot of things, not just writing, right? You're capable of a lot of things beyond writing. But the second you call yourself or label yourself as a writer, sure, when you're having conversations, if you tell the other person, oh, I'm a writer, they're like, okay, cool, man, I don't come across writers very often, so it's very cool that you're a writer. You will get that reaction. But you also do this thing to the other person where it's like they have the image of you as a writer in their minds, but in reality, that's not what you are. That's not everything that you are. Now, don't ask me the question of, okay, Mahesh, then how do I introduce myself in social circumstances? Don't ask me, go fucking figure. Because I haven't figured that myself. Like, I don't know what to tell people what I do. They ask me what I do. I'm like, I don't know, right? I'm a writer. Like, oh, I'm a writer. Oh, they're gonna go crazy, batshit crazy. And I know for a fact that I don't think I'm the writer that they think I am. Like, anyway. Yeah, so this attachment that we have to labels, that's not who we are. We are way beyond any of these labels, right? Who we are in our core is way beyond any of these labels, way beyond any of these job roles that we kind of, put on LinkedIn, for example, right? Again, here, what we are is the awareness of the labels, the kind of pure awareness that caused the label to come into fruition. We think we are the label, but in reality, what it is, that label is just one small part of who we are. We are not a writer, we are just someone who writes. We're not an editor, we're just someone who edits. We're not a fucking playboy, we're just someone who likes to play around from time to time, right? Huge difference. So yeah, those are the 4 critical distinctions of, you mistaking yourself as someone else. Right? The reality of the situation, right, at the very bottom level, at the very crux of it, you are just pure consciousness. You are just pure awareness. That's what you are. You're actually nobody. You're actually a nobody. Right? I'm nobody, and everyone else is nobody. Right? All of us are just balls of awareness, balls of just flesh of consciousness. We are just clumps of flesh having consciousness about, being conscious about our own human experience, just walking through life, trying to make sense of it. And the thing about reality, how it works, again, from my view, don't come at me and say, oh, you're only 21, how the fuck, why are you lecturing me on reality? First of all, which is what I think, you can go and believe whatever you want. But I just feel like the thing about reality is that reality in and of itself is objective. And I've said this in so many videos before, it's objective. Labels are only assigned to reality because we want to make better sense of the world. We are not okay with reality happening and just going, fuck, I don't know what's happening. I'm fucking lost, but I don't want to admit that. None of us are okay with admitting that. So what we do instead is like, well, if that's happening, that means I'm a victim. Or if that is happening, that means I'm an overthinker. Or if that's happening, that's probably because okay, I was going to say something. I just realized that's not going to be very YouTube friendly. I was going to say something around. I'm not even going to say it. We think all of these things, man, but like in reality, all of them are just like meaning that you ascribe to your situation. None of them is reality. Right? Reality in and of itself is only inside your mind. Your mind makes up reality. It's not real. It's not true. It's your mind makes up reality. So does that mean that you should not fucking make up reality? Of course not. You can't help it. You have to make up reality. But the point I'm making is, reality is far more beyond what you think it is. It's far more beyond what your mind says it is. Everything that your mind says to you is not reality. It's just your mind's version of reality. And I think you and I, we can both agree when I say this, and I hope to God that you've experienced this. There is a world beyond the mind. There is a world, a tiny world. I'm not sure if it's tiny. I haven't actually seen it. But a world beyond your mind, which is like, it knows certain things without logically knowing. It can feel certain things. It can feel when things are right. It can feel when things are wrong. Many people call it the gut instinct. Many people call it their inner voice. But what all I'm referring to, all of them refer to the same point, which is that intelligence that is beyond the mind. That's what I'm like urging you to tap into as you go through and live your life. Right? Don't just fucking be slaves to your mind. Don't just be slaves to the labels and the expectations and what have you that your mind throws your way. Don't be slaves to the thoughts that your mind also throws your way, right? Instead, be the person who's aware of all of those thoughts or aware of all of those things that the mind does, and a person who just takes action using that deeper intelligence that is beyond the mind to actually live life. That is who you are at the very bottom of it all. No, you're not your mind, you're not your thoughts, you're not your expectations, you're not your labels, you're not any of those things. You're just the deeper intelligence beyond all of these things, which is watching the play of your own life. When you see this for yourself and when you understand this truly, you truly realize how life kind of becomes like a blank canvas and you have the paint rather than being dealt like an existing paint box and you can only edit like certain parts of it. That's not true. When you realize what I'm talking about, you truly realize that life is a blank canvas. That's all it is. The deepest part of it's a blank canvas and you have the paint right by your side to paint whatever you want. Yeah, that's about it from me. Camera kind of got cut out, so I had to record the intro again, but that's about it from me. I know this topic is slightly more deeper than the other kind of topics that I talk about, but this was just a small attempt from me to help convey this idea that I kind of absolutely love, and I try to live my life over. I just try to base my life over this idea that hey, it's like you are not your mind, man. People screw themselves over thinking that they are their mind, they are their voice, they are their labels, or they are their insert whatever the mind comes up with. Reality, you are not any of those things. Again, reiterating one last time, you are the intelligence beyond mind, which is aware of all the tricks that the mind plays. That's about it. If you have any questions about this, which I'm sure you will, but you're too lazy to actually go down and put it down in the comments. I understand. I'm like that too. It's okay. Anyway, I'll still make that invitation because I'm that YouTuber, the nice YouTuber. If you have any questions about this, feel free to drop it down below. And yeah, do my best in answering them to the best of my ability. I cannot guarantee that I will be brief though, because concepts like this, I usually have a habit of writing essays. Anyway, pretty long already. I assume it's like the 15-minute mark already. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helped you. See you in the next one. Yeah, peace.